Well, it's another warm one out there with temperatures well into the 20s once again. I do believe the temperature has managed to crack the 30 Celsius mark, at least in a couple of locations, one near London and one up in Cumbria. If that is confirmed, that would be the first time that a 30 Celsius has been achieved anywhere in the UK on the 13th of June, and it's the only day up until today, if confirmed, that the temperature had not hit 30 Celsius during the 1st of June through August 31st period. So the meteorological calendar for the UK, only the 13th of June has failed to reach 30 Celsius, but it looks as if that has been broken today. This is the current satellite as of 10 to 5 in the evening. You can see here most of the British Isles is in sunshine this afternoon, and across Ireland we've got two main areas of thunderstorm activity as of at the moment anyway, over the central portion of the Irish Republic, and also in the surrounding areas around Inverness. Now if you look at the lightning detection of weather online, you can see here that we've got plenty of lightning activity to the south, southwest, and to the west of Inverness. And as well as that, we've also got that over the heart of Ireland as well. Temperatures this afternoon right up there once again with recent days. We've got at least 28 Celsius in and around Glasgow, southwestern Scotland. Up at the far north, up in Altnahara, it is a very toasty one as well. We've also got 29 Celsius at Oak Park, Carlow in the Irish Republic. We've also got 28s, 29s. We also have, it looks like, a 30 Celsius. So Sean Batty of STV confirmed that 30 Celsius was achieved in Cumbria earlier on. It looks as if we have, it looks as if Exeter 2 is reporting 28.9, but here on the actual graphic it's showing 30. And we have probably seen a few stations reach 30. It'll be interesting to see if the Irish Republic has achieved 30 Celsius. That would be the earliest, I believe, on record, or certainly going back many decades. I'm sure Shrine would confirm that with me. Looking at the current European temperatures here, you can see plenty of warm weather across particularly the northwest. So Scandinavia is warm underneath that area of high pressure, of course, and across northern France, the Low Countries, and indeed much of the British Isles is in plenty of warm conditions. A little bit fresher the further east you go over Europe. Much of northern Iberia is a little bit fresher this afternoon, thanks to those thunderstorms blowing up, as you can see here, over the heart of the Arabian Peninsula. This is the current. Let's actually have a quick look, because quite a lot of interesting things going on at the moment here. So let's look at the tweets from recent hours and over the last 24 hours. Of course, there's that record that was achieved back at the weekend at the Bulick na Ba, which, like I've said, it's that windy road that goes from the bottom of Lough Carron all the way up to above 2,000 feet above sea level. Quite an exposed site, quite a wild place, especially in the winter time. But the temperature achieved 22.9 Celsius, and that broke the record. I said yesterday it was, I thought it was 2016, but it's actually 2006, and records go back to 2001 for this location. So the weather station itself is located 2,503 feet above sea level. The average for this time of the year is only 9.1 Celsius. So 22.9 is pretty remarkable, given the fact that the average is only 9.1 Celsius at this particular location. Quite a difference in terms of conditions yesterday. While it was still 27 Celsius at 8 o'clock last night in Glasgow, it was only 15, 16 Celsius over the Central Highlands, and heavy rain, thunderstorms, and even like a kind of steady rain. So certainly the temperatures were quite contrasting. Only 15 Celsius on the Murray Coast. We had 27, like I say, around the Glasgow area. So quite a difference, especially given the nearby thunderstorm activity and whatnot. You get that that release of cooler air from aloft. And yeah, like I said, looks as if we've hit 30 Celsius for the first time on record for the 13th of June. Going to, this is Met Irion, absolute droughts ended at most stations over the weekend except at Newport, County Mayo. 8 stations had their longest absolute droughts on record, lasting between 19 and 26 days. And some of these records, Dublin Airport had its longest absolute drought of 26 days since 1955. So quite interesting stuff, of course, over parts of the Irish Republic through the weekend. Of course, we had wildfires across the north of Scotland here over the weekend, but I think most of them have been now put out essentially because of the heavy rainfall that we've seen in the last couple of days. And we've got quite dark skies here to the west of the house at the moment, with sails developing here in the heat of the afternoon. And of course, we've got a record warm North Atlantic at the moment. This was the scene in Greenland, by the way, at Nuuk on the coast yesterday. So snowing here. If you don't like heat, go to Greenland if you have a choice. I don't think you have the choice anyway, because there's not many flights to Nuuk from the UK, of course. Thrive in the Frees and Galloway had 30.4 Celsius yesterday afternoon, according to Sean Batty. This is the warmest on record. Records go back 60 years at this site. The previous record was 29 back in 1995. This was the scene, by the way, on the M1 down south yesterday. Like a waterfall, basically, the flood waters running off the top of this overpass onto the M1. Dramatic scenes, thanks to, of course, big time thunderstorms. Now, we've got a lot less thunderstorm activity over England and Wales this afternoon, pretty much high and dry, but certainly stats from yesterday show that there was 28,000 lightning bolts detected, 31 millimetres of rain in an hour at Sutton Bonington in Nottinghamshire, 3/4 of the June average rainfall at Drumnadrochit yesterday afternoon, flash flooding, hail, gusty winds. We had it all yesterday afternoon across particularly the bulk of England, Wales, and indeed Northern Scotland. Northern Scotland for the last 3 days has been quite the focal point of thunderstorm activity. And Austria, of course, still quite cool and unsettled in central portions of Europe. Never in this century has the first 30 Celsius in Austria taken longer than this year to achieve the first 30. So that's quite interesting. The latest so far was in 2013. Of course, that year continues to pop up. Quite a big contrast. Heavy rainfall in parts of Drumnadrochit. Thanks to thunderstorm activity, it had its wettest day in at least 8 years at Drumnadrochit along the shores of Loch Ness yesterday afternoon at the same time. 30.7, in fact, was achieved at Thrive in Dumfries and Galloway. Some interesting stuff here. Here at the house, my very short-lived station that actually went into operation back in January of this year. First 25 Celsius of the year so far. And of course, our friends down at NATS that control airspace across the UK, but I think specifically around the southeast of England. Very busy airspace. They have a complex job at the best of times, thanks to all this busy airspace around England in particular. But when you throw in thunderstorms into the mix, that job that they have on a daily basis becomes all the more complex, of course. So a great work by our friends at NATS, making sure that everybody is kept safe in our skies around that particularly busy southeast corridor. So this is the overview chart of weathercharts.com. This is the GFS operational here. Plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity, hence why we've got cool conditions across central and northern portions of Iberia. We've got an easterly wind at the moment here, and of course that is allowing the hottest conditions across more central and western areas of the UK, whether it be the West Highlands, England, Wales. You're generally relatively fresh on the east coast. The focus of the showers and thunderstorms being over Ireland, Western Northern Ireland, and Northwestern Scotland this afternoon, thanks to the upper air flow, of course. Plenty of messy conditions continuing over southern portions of Europe. Now, as we progress into the second half of this week, things get a little bit more interesting. You see the model picking up on those lively showers and thunderstorms this afternoon over the northwest and also western portions of Ireland here. High and dry across the bulk of England and Wales, with the exceptions of a few spots in the southwest. South Wales may get the odd little shower and thunderstorm developing here. But you notice here, as we play through the middle portion of the week, what happens is we start to import slightly drier air coming in from the east. And what that does is we'll start to lose the dynamics for thunderstorm productivity. And therefore, that is why we're starting to lose the thunderstorm activity over England and Wales. Less humidity means we don't have quite the same ingredients coming together for shower and thunderstorm activity. We start to kind of create a return to the cap, so to speak, over our airspace. Now, it's as we progress towards the upcoming weekend, we still have that high, we still have warm temperatures, but we are starting to import slightly less warm air. Now, if we go back to the current setup here, going back and forward a little bit, sorry about that, but these are the 850 temperatures at the moment. Widespread 10 to even 15 Celsius isotherm at 850 millibars here, hence why we're seeing strong warming at the surface. But you notice as I play through this loop, you notice here the slightly fresher air coming in underneath that area of Scandinavian high pressure, and therefore we're going to start to see the temperatures start to come down ever so slightly during the second half of the week and up towards the weekend. All the while, you notice here a lot of tremendous heat over Morocco, Algeria. That starts to lift north. We're going to see the temperatures really increasing over Spain and Portugal. Why would that be the case? Because we've got an area of low pressure out over the Atlantic that is acting as a little bit of a wheel here. So this circulation here is allowing some of this heat building over northwest Africa to then start lifting up into Spain and Portugal here. Now the question is, do we continue to see that warmer progress further and further north? Now the GFS is flirting with that idea towards the end of this weekend and into the early portion of next week. You notice here this little warm area here, 15 plus Celsius at 5,000 feet, trying to push into the southwestern portion of England. Therefore, we need to watch out for temperatures possibly even warmer than what we've seen so far this year. Remember, 32.3 was achieved over the weekend, of course. But this area of low pressure, as well as trying to import something a little bit even warmer than what we've seen, also increases the instability. We introduce more in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity once again. So if we go back to the overview chart, you can see here that this area of low pressure is actually developing a new area of low pressure, and this could make for a very volatile late weekend and into early next week, if this has merit, of course. We don't know for sure yet what's going to happen, but this is an area of low pressure that may be very different to what we've seen. Notice the pressure back below 1,000 millibars. We haven't seen that in a long time. A system that actually is a low pressure that goes right over the UK. So this is quite an interesting one here, folks, and it'll be interesting to see whether this has merit or not. And then it looks as if we have a little bit more in the way of disturbed weather. Once that system clears through, it looks as if the GFS tries to have more areas of low pressure moving in, bands of rain, longer spells of rain, risk of thunderstorms, flash flooding, but also hot and humid conditions as well. Positioning of those areas of low pressure to the west always opens that door to warm, humid air coming up from Africa and from Iberia into the British Isles. A volatile situation, a complex situation, and I do encourage you to keep it right here on marfoganweather.com and YouTube. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter. Please like, share, and subscribe, of course. There is so much to continue watching. A very interesting weather pattern, and I hope you can stick around to continue following this interesting situation. Still conditions very messy, as you can see, across the heart of Europe also. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I'll hopefully be back again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.